So good day everyone, this is me Michelle Ikamus. So for today's video, I'm here today to discuss about the sources of food contamination using HACCP. Now let's proceed on how we can find the sources of contamination. So the food products are rich in nutrients required by microorganisms and may become contaminated. Major contamination sources are water, air, dust, equipment, sewage, insects, rodents, and employees. The next one is contamination of raw materials can also occur from the soil, sewage, live animals, external surface, and the internal organs of meat animals. In additional contamination of animal foods originates from diseased animals, although advances in healthcare have nearly eliminated this source. Contaminations from chemical sources can occur through accidental mixing of chemical surfaces with foods. Ingredients can contribute to additional microbial of chemical contamination. Contamination can be reduced through effective housekeeping and sanitation, protection of food during storage, proper disposal of garbage and litter, and protection against contact with toxic substances. So we have here the types of food contamination. So the first one is biological contamination. So what is biological contaminations? It is occurs when food becomes contaminated by living organisms or the substances they produce. This includes biological matter produced by humans, rodents, insects, and microorganisms. Biological contamination is the leading cause of foodborne illness and food poisoning, and a common cause of food spoilage and food waste. There are 6 types of microorganisms that can cause foodborne illness. The first one is bacteria, viruses, parasites, protozoa, fungi, and prions. So the second type of food contamination, we have here the physical contamination. So physical contamination, it is occurs when a physical object enters food at some stage of the production or preparation process. Physical objects in food can be a choking hazard and often introduce biological contaminants as well. Even if the object is not likely to injure your customer, finding an object in their food can be very distressing for a customer who knows that harmful microorganism on that object could make them ill. So the third type of contamination, we have here the chemical contamination. So chemical contaminations, it is occurs when food comes into contact with or produces toxic chemicals which can lead to chemical food poisoning. Chemical contaminants fall into two categories, so that we have here the natural and artificial. Cross-contamination. Cross-contamination is the accidental transfer of contaminants from one surface or substance to another, usually as a result of improper handling procedures. In a food setting, the term refers to the transfers of contaminants from a surface, object, or person to food. Contamination usually refers to biological contamination but also be a physical or chemical. Sources, examples, and food products. The sources of food are broadly classified into two groups, plants and animals and the related products. So the first one is food from plants. Plants are source of a wide variety of nutrients required to keep the human body in perfect working conditions. Humans consume everything from fruits, flowers, even the stem of some plants, leaves and stem like lettuce, celery, roots of some plants like carrots, beetroot, and seeds like wheat, rice, and so whatever. And the second is food from animals. Animal products are used as food directly or indirectly, which is the milk, eggs, and meat are important examples of food from animals. Animal products too are a rich source of nutrients. The food chain is composed of exactly these animals, starting with organisms that use the energy of the sun to the apex at which the organisms are predators and rely on producers. So the second question is how it causes harm foodborne disease. Causes and symptoms of foodborne illness. Foodborne illness is caused by consuming contaminated foods or beverages. Many different disease-causing microbes or pathogens can contaminate foods, so there are many different types of foodborne illnesses. Most foodborne diseases are infections caused by a variety of bacteria, viruses, and parasites. Other diseases are poisoning caused by harmful toxins or chemicals that have contaminated food. Of note, many foodborne pathogens also can be acquired through recreational or drinking water, from contact with animals or their environment, or through person-to-person spread. Symptoms of foodborne illness. Common symptoms of foodborne illness are diarrhea and or vomiting, typically lasting to 1 to 7 days. Other symptoms might include abdominal cramps, nausea, fever, joint, back aches, and fatigue. What some people call the stomach flu may actually be a foodborne illness caused by a pathogen, virus, bacteria, or parasite in contaminated food or drink. The incubation period, the time between exposure to the pathogen and onset of symptoms, can range from several hours to 1 week. 3. Corrective measures to avoid foodborne disease. So we have to follow these 5 principles to help prevent foodborne illness. So the first one is wash your hands. It is one of the most important personal hygiene habits can also prevent foodborne illness. Following these simple steps ensures that you are making the most of your hand washing. So first is with your hands with warm water. Apply soap to your heads. Wash and scrub for 20 seconds. This is about how long it takes to sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star at normal speed. Next is rinse off the soap. And lastly is dry your hands with an air dry or proper towel. If possible, turn off the faucet with a paper towel. Second is properly handle raw animal products. Improperly handled animal products are a common source of foodborne illness. It's important that you take proper steps to ensure these products are safe for consumption. When preparing meat, do not rinse it under water. This can spread bacteria from the meat to other surfaces in your kitchen, increasing the risk of foodborne illness. If there is liquid from the packaging you would like to remove, you can pat it dry with a paper towel. Cross-contamination can increase those risks. Don't allow these products to touch other surfaces or foods. 3. Use clean and sanitize utensils, equipment, and surfaces. Before preparing food, ensuring the surfaces and equipment food will touch are clean and sanitized can prevent spreading harmful bacteria in the food. Cleaning involves removing food, dirt, and pathogens with soap and water. Sanitizing kills the bacteria once the utensils and equipment have been cleaned. You should always start with a clean prep station, and after working for 4 continuous hours, you should clean and sanitize your station. That's the amount of time that bacteria will grow to dangerous levels. Number 4. Use food before it expires. There's a common belief that as long as there are no apparent signs of spoilage, expired foods are fine to eat. That is not necessarily the case. Oftentimes, pathogens will grow to dangerous levels even if we cannot see, smell, or taste them. It is safest not to use food after the printed date has passed. Foods are at higher risk for going rancid or spoiling. No amount of cooking or other food preparation techniques can guarantee the food will be safe. Lastly, keep animals away from food and food preparation areas. When it comes to carrying disease, animals are some of the worst culprits. Chances are you don't bath your dog or cat as regularly as yourself, and such as they often carry more diseases. Think of all the places your pet has been, the things that it could have collected in its fur, and all the surfaces their paws have touched, the disease it could have come contact with are not clean as of frequently increasing the chances of its spreading. So that's the end for discussion today. So thank you for listening.